What is up, ladies and gents? So I had to go for a police interview today. I was meant to go for this police interview last week on Wednesday, but it got cancelled because of the solicitor messing around. So we were all back today. We were asked on back today. So we went back today for the interview. It was in relations to the threats. These threats that I was making towards the inghams a few months ago, which obviously was referred to the police, and obviously, it was harassment with threats of harm, like with threats of violence, is what it was. So there was one thing that I haven't mentioned that I probably should have mentioned a long time ago. I also sent a few emails to these Honey Jolies that were of a similar nature to the threats that I also made to the So we went in. We were meant to go in at 11 o'clock, but it got delayed till 12 o'clock, which is kind of what happened last week, Wednesday. We were meant to go in at 11, it got delayed till 12, and then they ended up cancelling it, and then we went back today, it got delayed till 12 o'clock again, because the solicitor had another case that she was dealing with as well. So obviously we got delayed till 12, we went in, the police officer kind of spoke about what was going to be, happening in the interview and all that. We then had to go out of the room so that the solicitor could speak to, obviously go through everything with the police officer on their own for a few minutes. And then we had like about 10 minutes on our own with the solicitor, and she was, talking me through what to do. She advised me not to answer any of the questions in the interview, which I didn't. I basically responded to, with no comment to every question I was asked in the interview, which is what I was advised to do. So now we've just got to wait, I guess, and see whether I'm going to get a caution or if I'm going to have to go to court. Now, obviously, when I think back to those, to the threats that I made, so I gave my reasons, for why I did it, albeit they weren't kind of justifiable reasons. I said that the reason I did it is because I felt they were exploiting their kids. I also wasn't happy with the way that they were speaking to people. They kept being rude to people, and I mentioned that they have been known to be quite rude to people for absolutely no reason, which is one of the things, but obviously, those are not kind of justifiable reasons for what I did. And admittedly, I did send threats to the Honey Jolie parents that were of a similar nature to the ones that I sent the inghams. I admitted that I was using another, as obviously Sarah mentioned, the Dean Morrison account that was sending emails to them, and I admitted that was me using a fake name. I think, I can't see it going to court because I feel like there wasn't enough evidence for it to go to court. I feel like there weren't any witnesses or anything. So that's one thing. They were showing one of the emails that I sent to Honey Jolies a while back when I was having. I remember I sent an email to them once, having a go at them for it's an email I sent to Jonathan. And I was having a go at them over the fact that they kept showing the school logo and everything in the videos, even when despite the fact that they'd been warned, many times not to do that because of, for safety reasons. And I wasn't happy with the fact that they kept showing the logo in the videos when they put the school logo in their videos when they'd been warned not to do that. And I sort of emailed Jonathan and I said, look, you need to stop doing this. You need to stop showing the school logo in your videos. I also sent one about him filming Edie constantly filming Edie swearing and sticking everything fingers up and putting it out there online. I said I didn't agree with that and felt that he needed to stop doing that as well. But I think the reason that I sent the emails I sent to Jonathan and Anna was because I'd become, I guess, quite frustrated with the lack of regard that they were showing towards the safety of their kids. It felt like the safety of their kids wasn't and still isn't a priority to them. And it's the same with the Inghams. It feels like the safety of their kids isn't something that has ever been a priority for them, to them, in that regard. Obviously, I'm not trying to condone, me sending threatening emails to either of them, to the Tony Jolies or to the Inghams, but I'm saying that, I had reasons for why I sent them. I think, at least I admitted it. At least I didn't sit there and deny it and I had nothing to do with it. At least I did the right thing and actually admitted to sending these threatening emails. I didn't just try and deny that and say, well, no, it's not me sending them or I had nothing to do with them. And I'd very easily have said that, but I think admitted to what, I'd done was, the better thing to do and was the more responsible thing to do. Obviously, I didn't answer any of the questions. Obviously, as I've said before many times, I never intended on carrying out the threats that I'd made towards the Inghams. That was never my intention. I never ever had that intention of actually harming them. The emails were more me trying to scare them a little bit and make them so scared they wouldn't put their kids out on social media anymore. Like at the end of the day, it was. Obviously, this is like the first time I've ever actually been cautioned for anything as well. I've never been cautioned for anything prior to this, which I guess might bode well. Because I guess having no previous criminal record, is something that sometimes does bode well, sometimes it doesn't. I think that, at least, as I said, at least I did the right thing and actually admitted to sending the threats. I was, I'm not saying that I'll never say that what I did was okay, but, at least I admitted it, it's obviously, being in a police station is never fun. It's daunting, makes you feel a little bit anxious, I guess. Honestly, I don't know if it will go to, or obviously we don't know, we won't find out for at least a week, about, whether I'll be going to court or not, or whether I will be, cautioned. I think it probably will just be a caution and that it won't be something that goes to court, but we just have to wait for that decision, and obviously wait to hear what decision has been made. It's, I'm just glad I got that email out of like that. I'm just glad I got that. I'm just glad I got the interview done out the way now. It wasn't scary. I didn't feel scared, but when they showed me the evidence that they had, obviously, which was like all of the emails, like not all of them, but some proof of the emails that had been sent from me to them, and I said. And when they asked me about, if I had sent these emails, I said no comment. They asked me a lot of questions. I said no comment. That's what the solicitor advised me to do. The solicitor advised me not to answer the questions, and I didn't answer the questions. I said no comment to every question that I was asked, because that's what the solicitor advised me to do. I guess in a way I do feel bad for all of the distress that I caused both families. and I know that I took things too far, I guess I just let things get the better of me and drive me to the point where I was not really, to be honest, I think at the time, like, I wasn't really thinking about the consequences that I would face for what I was doing. I wasn't really thinking about how much trouble I was going to get into for making these threats. I wasn't really thinking about the fact that what I was doing was wrong. Like, I didn't really care about that at the time. But now, when I look back at it, I think to myself, like, I should never have, have escalated things to the point I did, you know. But unfortunately, I did let things escalate to that point, and, you know, it's like, my opinion on what the Inghams and the Honey Jolies do is, isn't ever going to change. I'm always going to disagree with what they do, purely because they're making money off their kids. And it makes me laugh to think that people aren't actually see that they're doing that. It makes me laugh to think that people are still trying to deny something that is so blatantly obvious. Because it is so blatantly obvious that they're exploiting their kids, and it does piss me off a little bit that people are still constantly trying to deny the fact that these parents are doing that, which it's so blatantly obvious to see. I actually hate this, well, not this time of year in general, but, I hate family vloggers at this time of year. Because family vloggers at this time of year are at the very worst. Like, the bragging and the showing off becomes way worse than anything else. All you're seeing with these family vloggers is them constantly bragging and showing off about what they can afford. And people don't need to see that. People don't need to see them bragging and showing off about what they can afford. That's not what this time of year is about. It's not a time of year that's about bragging and showing off about what you can afford. But to so many of these family vloggers, it feels like it is. I was saying the other day about, the family fears, Georgie and Darren going out and buying his luxury advent calendars. I just looked at that and I think to myself, like, what warrants going out and spending such a ridiculous amount of money on advent calendars? It doesn't make sense to go out and spend all that money on advent calendars. It just really, it really doesn't. Like, it's not something that I think will ever make any sense. But that's them for you. I guess, a lot of these family vloggers do things that don't make sense. And spending a ridiculous amount of money on advent calendars is one of those things. I mean, I guess that's one of the only good things that, can be said about the imps. Is at least they don't spend a ridiculous amount of money on advent calendars. Like, they don't go out buying his luxury advent calendars every year. Like Georgie and Darren Fizz do. And it just makes you laugh. Like, people are struggling enough at this time of year. And seeing all these these family vloggers bragging and showing off about what they can afford, it's going to make people feel a lot worse. It's not going to make people feel any better about the situation they're in. It's going to make people feel a whole lot worse. As I say, people find it hard enough. At this time of year, they don't need to see these family vloggers bragging and showing off about what they can afford. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, as I said, hopefully within the next week or so, in the next week or so, I should find out whether I have to go to court or if I'll be getting a caution. I mean, the police officer that we spoke to, that did the interview today, PC Modern, he wasn't a bad police officer, actually. I think he was pretty good. I'm glad to have the solicitor there, to be honest. I think, I didn't feel that made me feel a little bit better. That's why I didn't feel too bad, was because the solicitor was there. It's... I mean, obviously, I'm just glad that I admitted what I did, you know, and I'm glad that I held my hands up to that and said, yeah, I did do it, you know, because I wonder how it would have looked if I had said no, if I denied it and not held my hands up to that. It would, it would have made things a whole lot worse. It probably would have made things, a whole lot worse if I hadn't held my hands up to that and admitted that I did it. But at least I'm willing to hold my hands up and admit to what I did, which is exactly what I did today. I held my hands up and admitted to what I did. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for another one soon. Bye bye.